Brothers and sisters, it is great to be with you this morning. And Mike, thank you for those kind words and for welcoming me back here. It really is a pleasure for several reasons to be here. First and foremost, it gives me an opportunity to again note the important role that all of you and that this union plays in what we do every day. As Mike mentioned, we are a coalition of unions that represent transportation workers. The work that we do in Washington would not be as good. We couldn't do it at the level that we do it without the ILA at the table. Your president, Harold Daggett, does a tremendous job as a member of our executive committee, making sure that whether we're talking about automation issues, port security issues, labor issues, that the interests of the ILA are front and center. You also have a great lobbyist in D.C. representing your interests, Ingo Esters. We do a lot of great work together. It's been a pleasure to work with him over the years. And again, I think this union is well served to have Ingo in that position. So we're in Florida, obviously. And it's appropriate, I think, for many reasons to have this meeting here. Obviously, a lot of ILA members, as Dan mentioned, a good labor movement here, important state from a maritime and port perspective. But I also think it's fitting because the activism and resiliency that I saw come out of the state recently reminds me so much of the activism and resiliency of ILA members. So let me explain a little, right? Florida used to have some of the most restrictive voting laws in the country. Anyone here convicted of a felony was barred from voting in any election. And that changed last fall when voters overwhelmingly passed something called Amendment 4, a ballot initiative that restored polling rights to more than 1 million Floridians. It was one of the largest expansion of voting rights in the country, and the fact that 65% of voters approved of the initiative should have made it the end of the story. But just last month, Republican lawmakers passed a bill requiring anyone with felony records to pay all financial fees and obligations in any way related to their offense before they could even be allowed to vote. That's a big blow, to be sure, but the people of Florida, they are not giving up. Those behind Amendment 4 have launched a fund to help nearly 600,000 voters pay these outstanding fees. They have filed lawsuits. They are organizing because they know that there's a better way, a better future for Florida. The ILA is no different. For centuries, longshore workers in America have faced insurmountable challenges. I'm talking about exploitation of your predecessors, many of them immigrants, at the hands of giant corporations, racism, harmful economic policies, and efforts to destroy your rights as trade unionists. Like the backers of Amendment 4, this union has fought like hell for the rights that you have today. And just like voters here in Florida, right when you think that you've made it, the powers that be, they try to change the rules, they rig the game, making it harder for you to get ahead. Yet through it all, this union has never, ever shifted its focus from what matters most: building a better future for yourselves, your families, and those who will come after you. Just look at what was going on 4 years ago when we were last together. This union was under serious attacks. Corporate interests and their friends in Congress, they didn't want the ILA to have a future. They thought this union and everyone in this room had too much power. They wanted to strip away your rights to bargain collectively for fair wages, good benefits, and job security. They wanted to put you under a different set of labor laws. Remember that? A set of laws that would have weakened your economic power. They even came up with something called port metrics. a fancy scheme to measure port movements, but we weren't fooled. We saw right through their ploys. We knew that port metrics was simply an attempt to make it easier for a White House to order you back to work. And together, we fought back. We developed a comprehensive lobbying strategy. We educated members of Congress. We worked with agency heads. And with this union fully engaged and all of you standing together, we won those fights. And that same determination is alive and well today. I see it in the way that you stand in solidarity with workers around the world and with each other. I see it in the energy that I feel in the room today, and in the work that you do each and every day. Work that is vitally important in Kansas, to farmers in Kansas and Missouri who depend on you to get their soybeans and wheat to European markets. Auto manufacturers and workers in Michigan and Illinois who need you to get our cars to consumers in Asia, South America, and around the world. And to the people across this country who rely on you to get them the products that they need to live. And yet, not everyone sees the value of what you bring to the table. It's no big secret that automation is one of the biggest threats that working people face today. And I can tell you that that threat just doesn't impact our ports. We're seeing it in every mode of transportation and in every corner of our economy. From checkout lines at grocery stores, to robotic cleaners at hotels, to driverless big rig trucks. There was even a pilot program in this state, no lie, to operate driverless school buses. And in many ways, we are facing uncharted territory. Some are predicting massive workforce reductions and a change to the nature of work itself. But this union has always been at the forefront of the automation debate. And I applaud ILA's leadership for understanding not only what is at stake, but for deploying strategies that can overcome this challenge. In your most recent collective bargaining agreement, you found the right path forward for this union by leveraging the power that you have, understanding the ways in which the economy is changing, and anticipating the needs of seaports and terminal operators. You not only made sure that Longshore Workers will continue to be at the center of this industry, you ensured that your brothers and sisters will benefit from increased productivity. And perhaps just as important, you made sure that decisions about automation are handled right where they need to be, at the bargaining table. That doesn't mean this fight is over. We know that. Automation, it's not going away. And neither are the forces that wanted to undermine your rights as union members. And they're going to pursue every avenue that they can, including leveraging their connection within the halls of Congress. Not because they believe in a future where humans and robots can work together in more efficient, effective ways, or because they believe that automation will make our ports better, but because your right to earn wages that let you take care of your families, that let you enjoy some basic pleasures in life like vacations, health care, home ownership, is a threat to their bottom line. The Walmarts and the Amazon of the world, they don't like the power that you have as ILA members. They see automation as a way to lower labor costs and destroy your unions. Well, I have news for them. We're going to show them what union power looks like. And we're going to make sure that they know what this union means business at the bargaining table and in the halls of Congress. Last fall, we shut down an entire Senate bill because it contained funding for port automation. We'll be damned if we're going to allow taxpayer dollars to be used to replace good union jobs, your jobs, with machines. We can have the best ports in the world. We should have the best ports in the world. But that path does not start with robots. It starts with funding the infrastructure that you rely on each day. And that's why we're focused on legislation that would unleash monies in the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund to ensure that taxes collected from this industry are spent on their intended purpose, making sure that the ports and the harbors that you work in can accommodate the larger and larger ships that we know are showing up on your docks. It's why we're making sure that freight rail cars and semi-trucks can efficiently get into and out of docks. Because if we don't ease bottlenecks and congestion, we undermine our own competitiveness. And it's why we're standing up for the good jobs in this industry and across the country. Making sure that we can move freight efficiently and meet the demands of a global economy means making sure that we have the best workforce in the world. And it means making sure that our transportation system, especially the longshore, the port industries, continue to produce the kind of jobs that people can raise families on, that they can be proud of. The way we do that is by standing together at the negotiating table, at the polling booth, and in Washington. Who we elect matters, but if we're going to win these fights, the fights we've discussed here, we cannot stop at the ballot box. We have got to educate members of Congress once they are in office and educate them on our issues. Our elected leaders, they need to know what this industry means to you and your families. They need to know just how important your jobs are to this country and our entire economy, and why the work that you do is invaluable. And they need to recognize that what we're fighting for today isn't just about the here and the now. The fights that we fight today are about the future of the longshore industry, the future of your families, and making sure that 10, 20, 50 years from now, there will be men and women working on the ports who enjoy the same kind of job security, fair pay, and good wages, and pride in their work that all of you have today. The way that we get there is by doing what this union has always done, standing together, facing our challenges head on, and staying focused on a future that we can build together. Thank you so much. Have a great convention.